from the 24th week in the Premier League. Calvin Onwuka is the publisher, ACLSports.com. He's live on the program from London today. Glad to have you on the show, Calvin. Manchester City players and Pep Guardiola feel humiliated by the loss against Arsenal, but they have previously lost 6 Premier League matches before the match about the Emirates yesterday. Why was the loss against Arsenal different for them?
And thanks for having me, Promise. It was an absolute battery. that's why I was listening to John Stones immediately after the game. There was a look of shock on John Stones' body language and his face. He couldn't wrap his head around it that he'd been battered 5-1 in that game. And that is why they're embarrassed. And they should be embarrassed. They're champions. It's embarrassing to lose by such a wide margin in a big game, especially in a big game like that. So I understand how they're feeling. And they should feel like that. People who are used to winning, people who are used to winning both trophies and matches will feel embarrassed with a result like that. So I understand where the embarrassment is coming. It's what it should be.
And I can feel even the embarrassment more for Pep Guardiola losing 5-1 against a coach he mentored in Mikel Arteta.
And there's something Sam Allardyce said many years ago. He said, yes, it's all right to blame managers when things go wrong, but that the problem is once these players cross the white line and get onto the pitch, the influence of the coach is not as much as people think it is. I've interviewed a former Super Eagles player, and he said to me that a lot of the time on the pitch, they are not listening to all that shouting that coaches are shouting from outside, that they're too engrossed in what is going on. Sometimes they don't hear some of these things going on. So for Pep Guardiola, in the Sky Sports studios last night, Thierry Henry said something about Guardiola specifically. He said he knows that a lot of things going on in Guardiola's personal life, that and how perturbed, how too much is on top of Guardiola at this point in time. But listen, he's experienced. He has the war chest, which Man City would provide for him for later in the year. So I think he will come around this. He has not experienced it before, so hopefully he will come around it.
All right, Liverpool won at Bournemouth. Well, I expected a better resistance from the home team, considering their current form. Bournemouth.
Why on earth were you expecting something different?
Because Bournemouth defeated Arsenal, and they got results against Chelsea and against other top teams.
Yeah, but Liverpool are the top team. Liverpool are the top team. So if they got results against all of these people, it doesn't guarantee that they will get a result. Liverpool are in that place at the moment. It can change. But in that place at the moment where they get onto the pitch and they expect to win matches. And in Mo Salah, they have what PlayStation experts will call a cheat code. You just know that when things get really bad, Salah will come through, which is what he did for them at the Vitality the other day. So, yeah, I expected them to win, and I was not surprised they won.
All right. Manchester United still look very unwell despite buying and selling players this winter, and a new manager in the dugout. Losing at home against Crystal Palace just confirms that they have a very long road to recovery, Calvin.
If I was the decision maker at Old Trafford, I was sacking now. Because let me point this out. How does a manager come in and the results are worse than the previous manager's result? He's lost 5 of 7 Premier League games at home. He has made 14 points out of a possible 39. There's no manager with that kind of record in the Premier League that survives it. He's coming and he says he only knows one way of playing. That is a most astonishing admission. And Manchester United as a football club should not be accepting defeats, should not be accepting, should not consider that we're in a transition. And because we're in a transition, we should be accepting defeat. That is wrong. Manchester United is English football's most successful football club. So they didn't get there by losing matches, by allowing money. United made a big mistake when they accepted um, Eric Ten Hag losing 9 matches in his first season, even though the club came third in the league. That set a very bad record. Well, in the second season, he also lost even more matches. And then they allowed him to start this season. And from that, they've now gotten another manager who is comfortable with losing games. No football club should be comfortable with losing games, especially a top football club like Manchester United. Nah, it's not acceptable. But that's what's going on at the football club now.
Okay, but perhaps the club managers feel, sacking managers has become too often at Old Trafford, and maybe they want to stick their guns with Amorim, who came highly recommended for the Red Devils. Now, Wolves seem to have found form again, and we saw that when they defeated Aston Villa 2-0. But Southampton also won against Ipswich Town. That would be their first win in many months. I can't remember the last time Southampton picked 3 points.
I've actually tried to remember. I don't recall right off my. But see, this is why we like the Premier League. This is why we watch Premier League, because you can get wins. You can find teams who they look like they're not doing anything. Imagine, just as we're talking about Bournemouth. Bournemouth the other day went to St James's Park and absolutely battered Newcastle. Fulham also gone there and beat Newcastle. So I am happy that the survival race is also going to be just as exciting as it is at the top of the table. So yeah, let the wins keep coming. Let those clubs keep winning their matches.
And interestingly, 2 Nigerians were at the helm of that for Southampton. Joseph Aribo and Paul Onuachu got the goals to help Southampton to their first win in many, many months. Now, Nottingham Forest reduced Brighton to nothing. 7 goals to nothing. What a way to respond to their 5-0 loss against Bournemouth just a few days earlier.
You know how somebody gets beaten up in a fight a previous day, and then he finds that person's younger brother somewhere on the road and decides, I'm going to take out my frustration out on this person. That's precisely what Forest did to Brighton. It was brilliant. It was fantastic counter-attacking football, and I've enjoyed watching Forest in the way they play, because they're not dogmatic in the way they're going to play this game. We are going to play with the speed. We're going to maximize the speed of our forwards, and we're going to cross the ball for Chris Wood. And that's what, it's very simple. Football is a very simple game, and that's what Forest are doing. They're playing it the simple way, and they're getting the results. It will be fantastic if they make the Champions League. It really be good. It'll be good for football if they make the Champions League.